What's going on? So, I'm doing all the psyops. Not all. I'm going to do a few of them. And we did one the other day on um, a psyop, which was not a big psyop. Okay. I was going to do a flat earth one today, but um, we're going to do the money psyop. Okay. Money is the biggest psyop of all. Matter of fact, money is it's basically a religious belief. It's a religion. Now, I know people think of religion as, going to church on Sundays. Religion could be a lot of things. It could be sports, it could be gambling, it could be money, authority. Okay, so there's a lot of religions, and I guess religions and psyops maybe they go together in a way. So money, people think money is value, and sure, we've been using money for 8,000 years. I think that's when it started. Actually using money. Maybe they're doing trading and bartering before that. The whole world is involved on this psyop, okay? And the whole world's involved with money, with the exception of a few tribes, maybe like in Africa or South America. Um, the thing with the money is that these social engineers, they plant our needs and they plant our wants. Okay, they plant these into our brains. Um, they do use propaganda. They use repetitive programming. They use the media, peer pressure, you know, and other psychological methods. They plant what we think we need and what we think we want. And they basically paint these pictures in our brains, and the picture in our brains is what life should be. They're telling us what life should be, how we should live it, what we need in life. And of course we believe. And then we spend the rest of our life trying to achieve this life that they told us we need to have and how to have it. And so, like we want a house, on the lake with a pool, and we want a BMW. We want to go to Hawaii, you know, on vacation so we can have an umbrella drink. I mean, I don't see a whole bunch of Hawaiians getting off an airplane coming to Cleveland in grass skirts, coming here for vacation. Well, probably not, because they're busy making money from us because they want a house on the lake and they want a BMW too. So it's just this perpetual thing here that's created, and so they tell us what they need. They tell us what we need and what we want. So they create money, as a means of exchange to obtain these things that we believe we need, what we want. People think that we have to keep score. I got a bigger car than you. I got a bigger house than you. I got more jewelry, and we choose these lifestyles. And we watch these people on TV and these movie stars, and we're like, oh man, they're so lucky. I want to be like that. And basically what's happening is you're using up the biggest asset to get to these, to achieve these pseudo wants and pseudo needs that are planted, and your biggest asset is your life. Okay, I mean, people work till they're 67 to get to this. They just work like slaves to get to this point, and then what happens? They die 2 years later. I mean, we all know people that died right after they retired of being a slave their whole lives. I mean, why do we need to drive an $80,000 sports car on the freeway, or 100,000? Why? I mean, to show off to the have-nots. Like, look at me, I got an $80,000 car. You think people are wishing they were you? Probably not. And this is all, it's a make-believe world. Okay, people think that money has true, essential, fundamental, intrinsic value. Okay, and they don't. What is true intrinsic value? Okay, true, real intrinsic value, and is your intelligence, is care, is real truth, and most of all, it's life. That's real essential, fundamental, intrinsic value. It's not money. Okay. So these things are important. These are what's important. And what's real truth? Real truth isn't looking up on Wikipedia. It's not looking up on the first Google page. It's not watching some TV show or, science. Believe the science. Believe your media. Believe your authority. Stand down. Listen. Obey. No, man, that's not truth. Real truth is, sure, listen to them. Listen to, if you must live in the two choice world, listen to both choices. And once you do that, look outside the box. And the more data you gather, whether it's biased or not, is more information. Okay, information. And once you have information, you can sort it and you could distinguish it and you could interpret it and you could get rid of the bad stuff. And then you become wise. Wisdom. Yes, wisdom also has intrinsic value to it. And what's wisdom? Intelligence. What's intelligence? Looking stuff up on your own, making your own decisions. So life is an intrinsic value. I mean, being alive, and that includes the fetus. Okay, I mean, women trade false intrinsic value for real intrinsic value. You know, by extinguishing a life. I mean, why do they don't want it because it burdens them, because it gets in the way of their intrinsic value, their commercialism, the planted wants, the planted needs that they think they need, that the social engineers put in their brains. Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, people waving flags and people with all the signs in their front yards. These people, those aren't their wants. Those aren't their needs. They don't even know what they are. And so life is an intrinsic value, and we got to protect it. We can't kill it. And once we realize this, then we got to cherish it and take care of it. We got to breathe good air. We got to eat good food. We got to do the right things to protect it. Okay. Money, the money psyop. Money is a mental construct, and it's of lower consciousness. Um, Basically, money is designed for control. That's how they control us. They control us, and who has more money maybe gets a few more choices. So we think, oh, we get more choices because that's what we want to do. We worship our authorities now, okay, our authority figures, and so it's all about control. They're the ones that create, greed. I want more than you. My grass is greener than yours. They're the ones that create false perceptions. He lies, he lies, he lies. I mean, this is all planted stuff, okay? And we need to let this stuff go. They're the ones that create you're better than me and I'm better than him. And so it's impossible to completely escape this money psyop. It's kind of difficult to completely escape it because we got to engage with it all the time, okay? But we don't have to let it control us. We don't have to be its slave. Okay. And we don't have to work harder to get something bigger to impress somebody. That's a false reality. Okay. We don't have to work more so we're better than you. I mean, what's up with that? So how do we get out of this life? Well, I mean, we still have to work, okay, but we got to work for the right reasons, and we have to work smart, okay. We have to eat. We have to maybe we figure things out and we have a garden or whatever you want to do, but we have to first figure this out. And how we're going to figure it out? We have to have true self-respect. We have to make our wants our wants, our needs our needs. Okay. We got to stop lying to ourselves. We cannot be fooled by the two choice world. Why do you got to be in the two choice world? Why do you got us or them, heaven or hell? I mean, they want to give you two choice world, so you pick one side. And if you get tired of it, then you go to the other side, and they're just making you bounce back and forth. That's it. And then they create all these mini psyops, these little psyops, just to preoccupy your time, to waste your time. and there's hundreds of them, and then they want to divide us and keep us fighting. You know, we can't be fooled by this. Awake, awake, not awoke. We got to awake. We have to see what's happening. Okay, we need to understand what self-love is, self-care, and the love of life. We have to understand that. Okay, we have to know what true knowledge is, not what they tell us. And true knowledge is gathering information from many sources, and not from sources they tell you are the sources. Sure, I'm not telling you not to look up Google or Wikipedia, but I'm not. That should not be your only source. You need to look up different things so you can make the proper decision. Okay, once we get all this knowledge, we need to filter out the wrong stuff. We need to understand and process so we can make logical thinking. We can think properly and make the right decisions. Okay, and then also finally, and this is I do, like, I don't make any stuff up. I read stuff, okay, and I watch stuff. And so one of the most important things we need to do, and this is a YouTuber, he's a pretty famous guy, Mark Passio, says we need to we need to figure out and do shadow work. He calls it shadow work. And shadow work basically means we need to look back at our pasts. We need to go back and see if what trauma caused us to think the way we do, the way we act, the way we talk. That is something happened in our childhood. There's something happening when we were younger. And the thing is with all this mind control stuff, that they've had all these secret projects on, and back in, I don't know, right after World War II and the Cold War, it was all about trauma, and it was all about things that happened as a child. And the biggest thing that changes people is when they're younger, things happen to children and it traumatizes them. And when it traumatizes a child or a young person or a young adult, it disassociates the mind, and may change the direction of how they live and how they act and what they do. Well, Mark Passio says we need to do shadow work. We need to go back and dig and see what happened to us, see why we think the way we do, the way we act. And it makes a lot of sense. And people just don't do that. I mean, think about why, you believe in a certain belief, and like, wow, why they made me put on, I don't want to get into what everyone's problems are, but it can go back to while you're a child and like, wait a minute, now I know what happened. So, you got to sit down and think about whatever happened to you in the past and the way you act. And then once you can figure that out and figure out the trauma, if it wasn't trauma, maybe it was something else, okay? You will then be able to think clear and change the way you live today and have more wisdom. And that is an intrinsic value. You will not stand down. Okay, standing down is another Mark Passio psyop. Stand down psyop. That's where you just back off, like, oh, that's the government's got it under control. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to listen to them. I'm going to wait. I believe them, and so you don't want to stand down. Don't stand down, and wait for somebody else to tell you what you need to do, what you want. And that's this whole money thing, this whole money psyop. And the other problem people have today is they don't want to tell people that they've been duped, that they've been taken advantage of, that that they're they were fooled. They don't want to believe that, so they're going to live a lie. And that was one of the things, you got to quit living the lie. And you don't want to live the lie, work for the lie, slave to the lie, and then die by the lie. I mean, we're like only here for a couple of years. We ain't here that long, okay? And so we need to let the money psyop go. I'm not telling you to quit work, but you don't need to be the slave to it, because you don't need to work extra hours. You don't need to work wrong. You want to work right, because life is too short, and you don't want to die with the money psyop. So that is my money psyop. I do give some credit to Mark Passio for some of his videos. I do a lot of YouTubes, and a lot of people make fun of me because I watch other people's YouTube channels. But you know what? People have a lot of good things to say, and there's nothing wrong with getting, like I said, the more information you have, the more bias you have, the more the truth becomes reality, the more you become wise because you're making more informed decisions on the data that you obtain. And the more data you have, the more you can weed out the bad stuff. So, hey, this is a short one. So, hey, thanks for coming on.